recording so we get the replay. So again, we're going to be going over 3 different types of healthy snacks. If you guys saw in the invite, just a little recap, what we're going to be doing is first a protein yogurt bowl, raw veggies with savory dip. I'll talk to you about a couple different ways you can do that. And then fresh fruit with sweet dip. So here's what I mean by all of those. We're going to start first with the protein yogurt bowl. So let me grab, well, actually I have a bowl here. I'm going to grab my yogurt, a couple ingredients that we need. And if you guys have any questions about any of the brands that I'm showing today, I invite you to check out the Vitality approved brand list. You can find it within this Facebook group. And you just type it in the search and it'll pop up as a file, and then you can download it, you can save it, you can print it. And then there are clickable links for a lot of the brands that I recommend that you can just go and find either at the store or on Amazon or online. So the yogurt that I'm using today is Forager. This is a brand that I really love. It is vanilla flavored with vanilla bean, but it is unsweetened. And that's what I would recommend for you is number one, if you're gonna do a yogurt bowl, try your best to keep it unsweetened and minimal ingredients as well as dairy-free. Why the dairy-free? Because we know that typically dairy tends to upset most of our stomachs. It can cause bloating. It can irritate the skin. It's one of those inflammatory ingredients that is just on the lower quality side for what we have available in our markets. And luckily we have really awesome dairy-free brands nowadays that are doing really well. So this one is my favorite. And what I like to do, get a spoon. All my stuff is shifted over. Okay, so I'm just, here's what it looks like, right? It's just your yogurt. This one is based with cashews. So it's primarily made of cashew milk, cashews themselves, coconut cream as well, live active cultures. So what I'll do is I'll put like a fair amount of this. I'm just gonna make a small portion into my bowl. If you want more yogurt, you can certainly do more. Show this so you guys can see what I'm doing here. Okay, and I might add more later. Okay, then what I'm gonna do in here, because we wanna focus on the protein, right? I'm gonna do some protein powder. This is the one I've been using lately. It's New Zest and it has a vanilla flavor. Again, same rules apply when you're buying a protein powder as anything else. Read the labels. You wanna find something with minimal number of ingredients, things that you all understand, things that you can pronounce, minimal added sugar or kind of those extra ingredients that we just simply don't need. And then, you know, checking what else it is made out of. This one is plant-based. So it comes from a pea protein and it really does the trick. I'm a fan of this brand. So I'm gonna put in a scoop here. Now, important also, for this particular brand, 2 scoops equal about 18 grams of protein. So I know if I'm gonna put 1 scoop into my yogurt bowl as a snack, that means I know I'm gonna be getting 9 grams of protein from that protein. So make sure you read your labels. Okay, so then from there, if you wanted to get a little fancy, you could add in a little pink salt, you could jazz it up with your own cinnamon, turmeric, whatever kind of seasonings that you like. Okay, and what you're gonna notice is like I'm starting to make like a pudding just from mixing those 2 ingredients because that protein powder is quite thick and powdery. So it just takes up that moisture from the yogurt and all of a sudden I have myself like a protein pudding. Okay, I call this a yogurt bowl. You can call it whatever you want. But that on its own could be very tasty, right? But if you want to do it a little bit more special, this is kind of like your sweet treat for the night or for the day. Okay, what I'm gonna do next is add some extra goodies in there to give it texture, to also round this out in terms of a snack. So like we've talked about many times, when you're going for a snack, although it's not a meal, you wanna try to treat it like a meal, meaning we're looking for balance, right? So with balance, we're looking at the nutrient breakdown. Is there protein? Is there a high quality source of carbohydrates? Is there a high quality source of fats? And then if we're, really on top of our game, we'll have some veggies in there. With these examples, minus the actual veggie, you're not always gonna have the veggies, and that's okay. But if we can nail at least the protein and the fats for a snack, those are gonna be the most important because they're gonna keep you the most full. Okay, so here I have the beginnings of my protein yogurt bowl pudding. What I'm gonna do next is jazz it up. Okay, so here I have some toasted coconut, unsweetened. I have these golden berries that I bought recently that are really delicious. They're like citrusy, really good. And then, because I'm a chocolate fan, I always keep cacao nibs unsweetened in my pantry. Okay, so literally we're just gonna add these in, make it look pretty, and call it a day. So you can just add in a little sprinkle of each. Cacao nibs are rich in quality fats. Okay, this is what they use to make chocolate. So it's a great quality source of fat. It has a lot of antioxidants and it gives it a great crunch and texture. So I'm a big fan of these. All right, toasted coconut flake. Again, also a little crunchy, but different from the cacao nibs, another source of fat. And we're just gonna add that right in. Very nutty, kind of tropical flavors. And then I want a little bit of a different, like a freshness, a juiciness. So I'm gonna do some of these berries. A lot of questions that I get is like, oh, is it bad to eat fruit during the night or at night? The answer is no. The reason why is because we need to think about balance, again, nutrients, right? If I was to have like 3 big bananas at night and that's it, that's very different than what I'm creating here, right? Here, the carb intake in relation to the rest of our nutrients that we have, it's pretty low, which means that we're not gonna spike our blood sugar, which means that we're gonna sleep better, and our body isn't left with all of these, starchy carbohydrates that kind of excite the body when we're not really doing anything, right? We're getting ready to chill out or sit on the couch. We're not going into a workout or anything like that. So it's not that the carbohydrates are bad. It's just that we need to balance it out with the other nutrients to make it happier for our body to ingest and metabolize. So I've just chopped up a couple of these golden berries. Beautiful color, and I'm just gonna sprinkle those on there. And that is it, guys. There is your yogurt bowl. It's pretty. It's like a little parfait. Kind of reminds you of like digging into like a smoothie bowl or maybe even ice cream. I really love it. And that is one option for you. Again, you can do it with any other type of fruit. You can choose maybe like a nut butter instead of the coconut and the cacao nibs. You could even do maybe a chunk of dark chocolate if you have one that you really love and stick that in there and eat it with it. If you have granola, I recommend making it yourself. I have a recipe for mine that I like to make, and it's very simple. And it's the focus is high fat. So there's a little bit of oats in there. Those are optional, but it's basically made out of nuts and seeds. So maybe I'd put that on top of there. And because we have a nice amount of protein, if I were making this bigger, I'd probably go with the 2 full scoops. You're gonna notice how satisfied you're feeling, and it's a little meal, it's a small meal. It's gonna definitely hold you over for a couple hours, unlike maybe a couple bite of chips would do for you, right? So that's one option. Let me know if you guys have any questions so far. Let's go into a savory option now. So we're gonna go with the raw veggie option. So I'm not gonna show you all of my ideas. I have one that I'm gonna walk with you, or walk you through. But just know that really when it comes to, your veggies, if you're gonna eat them raw, you want something that's gonna complement that crunchiness, and sometimes the blandness of the raw veggies. So some of my favorites, I'm gonna pull out for you guys. Okay, so the one that is probably one of my favorites and the least amount of work is to just get yourself a couple dressings or sauces that you really like. There is no prep to this. You literally just find it in the store, shake it up, put it in a little saucer, and then you can go ahead and eat your raw carrots, celery, cucumber, cherry tomatoes, whatever ones that you like to eat. I could eat pretty much anything raw. And these are really awesome because they are not what you're going to find when you go to the restaurants, right? Because this one, for example, this is a classic ranch made by a really awesome brand, also noted in your Vitality approved document, Noble Made. And the ingredients are avocado oil, water, pineapple juice, distilled vinegar, organic coconut milk, cage-free egg whites, tapioca starch, salt, lemon juice, garlic powder, black pepper, onion powder, and dill weed. So just from hearing that tells us it's a great option, right? Everything I just listed is a whole food. It's also dairy-free, right? We're not dealing with hydrogenated canola or soybean oil, which really, really are so prevalent in almost every single sauce made, unless it's one of these really great brands. Some of my other favorites are Primal Kitchen. Trying to think of what else. Primal Kitchen is great for sauces. Those are the main ones. So what I'm gonna do is I don't have much left. I'm just gonna pour it in like a little saucer like this, so it's fun. Okay, and then that's literally it. You could dip this. I have some. One of my favorites are rainbow carrots. They come in all these beautiful colors, like purple, which is the sweetest, orange, like white or yellow. Okay. So you have your crunchy veg, that is your favorite. And then you can simply pop it into your little saucer and then boom, you have a snack. It's so delicious, very satisfying. And the ranch tastes like ranch. So I recommend this. Now, let's say you don't want to do a sauce, a couple other options for you. I'm always a huge fan of having a good quality salsa in your pantry. You can dip this or pour it even over raw veggies and dip away. Maybe you'll have like some veggies and some, seed crackers to go along with it. Okay, you could also make a really simple guacamole. Very simple, just taking a ripe avocado, scooping out the flesh, mashing it up with salt, pepper, maybe a little lemon or lime juice if you really want it to taste delicious. And then that is another great way to eat your vegetables with the minimal amount of effort. So right now my avocados are still ripening, but that one is super simple. It's just an avocado mash. So those are 3 different savory options that you can have with your vegetables, okay? Now the last one that we're gonna go over together is the fruit with a sweet dip. Okay, so this is also gonna go along the same lines with how to use your protein. You're gonna notice a theme here. This is how we use the protein into your snacks. You'll notice with the veggie one, we didn't have as much of a protein focus. Not always gonna be the case, right? But maybe if you were to go with that one, you did need a source of protein. You could certainly eat that with some cold cuts like antibiotic, uncured ham, or turkey, or pepperoni, prosciutto, even hard-boiled eggs, right? So you can always add on, but these are just giving you a couple different ideas. This last one is gonna be protein focused. I think I'm gonna end up using a different flavor just for the heck of it, and I'm gonna grab an apple. Okay, so with this is for an alternative way of creating kind of like that same type of, almost like a hummus type of situation, which is another great idea you can easily do on your own, but on the sweet side. So I'm gonna be using the same brand that I just showed you, but this is a chocolate, or it's called Cacao, which is the name of the flavor, just to switch it up. And I'm gonna make, again, a smaller portion of this into this little bowl. This a little bit. Okay, so we're gonna go in with the protein. That is kind of our base. It's going to give us that good nutrition that we're looking for to keep us full. Now, instead of the yogurt, like I used to loosen up the other treat that I just made, I'm going to be using a nut milk, or I mean, you could use any type of milk, non-dairy milk. Come to think of it, I'm actually going to be using an oat milk today. Doesn't matter what kind of milk. You could do unsweetened cashew, almond, a blend. I'm even seeing like different types of seed milks now. Again, every brand that I recommend is listed on that sheet. Use my spoon again. Okay, so here's milk. I'm gonna usually give these guys a good shake. And all I'm gonna do is pour enough into my little bowl with the protein. Start with a little bit, then add more as needed. And then I'm just gonna give it a little bit of a mix. And all we're doing is we're just trying to create a little bit of a thick hummus-like paste. Now, depending on your preference, this could be more or less the same consistency as that yogurt bowl. It's just like depending on what you prefer. Okay, so this is coming together. You're gonna notice that it thickens up really nicely and fast. Same idea as the last one. If you wanted to jazz this up with a little bit of more seasonings, like a little bit of sea salt or cinnamon, not a bad idea. And you'll notice that, look what I already created, a very thick hummus-like paste, but it's spreadable. Okay, so we're gonna just leave that very basic as it is. Then you're gonna grab a fruit of your choice. Again, whatever you're in the mood for. I typically like to do this with like apples, or maybe you could try it with like a pear, but apples are sturdy, especially when they're raw. So I'm just gonna cut a nice slice, okay, however you like. And literally we're gonna just scoop right into it as so. This is a snack. Really tasty. Now, if you wanted to add a little bit more fanciness to this, switch up the flavors a bit, I can show you how to do that. Something else that I'm a big fan of, along with having actual nut butters ready to go, I do like to keep a little bit of powdered peanut butter in my pantry. So this does have a tiny bit of coconut palm sugar, but it's the last ingredient, and it's made out of just crushed up peanuts that they make into a flour. But when you get it kind of wet, it turns into a very light peanut butter. So for this type of situation where I know I'm not going to try to like spread it really on like, you know, I don't need that drizzle effect. I want it a little bit more thick. This is a great way to add a bit more flavor. So I could add this into the same mixture. And then that gives it a little bit of a peanut butter flavor, a little bit more seasoning to keep it interesting. And this acts the same way as the protein powder, right? So absorbs all of the moisture, looks the same. And then again, we just go in, we take a bite. Great snack. And again, the focus here is that we have the protein with every single bite, and we have nutrients, right? A balance of nutrients. So I hope that was helpful, guys. Those are 3 different ideas. If you look back at the videos, I've also given some other options on how to use, you know, other types of ingredients. The focus today was more of using like nut milks, protein, some raw veggies, and I hope that serves you well. So let me know which one of these was your favorite. If you have any questions at all, you can always contact me. Until next time, I will see you guys next week at 2 p.m. and have a great rest of your day. Bye.